Paisa, Pakistan Constitution, what will determine the decision of the Indian voters when it comes to phase 3? We'll get the India Today Election Intelligence Dashboard up and running. I want to introduce you to the guests joining me for this special conversation, starting with my colleague Rajdeep Sardesai. He's been up and about covering the elections, also eating a lot of very delicious food. Rajdeep, welcome back. You must feel strange being back in the studio after all the time out in the field.
Well, the nicer thing is it's nice and cool in the studio. It's very hot in most parts of India. So in a sense, it's a nice break to have before I go on my next trip to another hot and humid place.
I was in Kashmir over the weekend. We had thick jackets on. We had thick jackets on from there. We're in the studio. Rashid Kidwai is with us. Rashid bhai, welcome. Good to have you with us. Big focus in phase 3 on Karnataka. Aishwarya Mahadev joins us, spokesperson of the Congress. Shazia Ilmi is with us, national spokesperson of the BJP. R.K. Upadhyay has been traveling out and about in Karnataka for the India Today group, picking up insights from the ground. And Pradeep Gupta is with us. He's been practicing his dance moves for the 4th of June. Pradeep, welcome. So let me give you a sense of what to expect. And I'll start with phase 3. Look at the overall big picture. And remember, this is where the BJP and the NDA are incredibly strong. And I have just a couple of data sets to explain that to you. So if you look at the 93 seats that are going to polls, out of which 41 are safe BJP seats, which means seats that the party has won in every election over the last 3 elections. 24 are relatively safe. If you add these, that's 65 out of 93 being safe or relatively safe. Flip this to the Congress data. Only 1 safe seat for the Congress in the 75 that they're contesting. 8 relatively safe. 45 weak seats which the Congress hasn't won in any election in the last 3 elections. I want to look at the victory margins. This again, very, very revelatory, because if you look at the seats that have been won with a margin of more than 1 lakh, 75 seats out of these 94 are seats which have been won with a margin of more than 1 lakh. 66 of those are seats that the NDA has won. The BJP 61, the Janata Dal United 3. The India Alliance has only 8 seats which they won with a margin of more than 1 lakh. So essentially, if you look at the big overall picture in terms of where things stand, out of the seats going to polls, the NDA has 79 of them, the BJP 72, the JDU 3, the India Alliance has only 12 of them, the Congress is 4, the Samajwadi Party has 2, the TMC has 2, which essentially means, Rajdeep, that this is where the battle, unlike the first 2 phases, is now very firmly on the BJP's core areas. That's where the battle is, and there's a huge margin between the BJP and the Congress when it comes to vote share.
Absolutely, Rahul. Look at the way the election has unfolded. When you look at the first phase, which was states like Tamil Nadu and states in the southern part of the country, the advantage was actually with the India Alliance. The India Alliance held more seats out of the 102 seats that went in first phase than the NDA did. When you came to the second phase, it was slowly getting a bit more even. But in the third phase, which goes to polls tomorrow, it's a runaway to the NDA, and these are the seats out of the 224 seats where the BJP got more than 50% vote share. A significant number are in these states. In states like Gujarat, all 26 seats of Gujarat go to the polls. In states like Madhya Pradesh, where the BJP did remarkably well last time, 28 out of 29. These are what the BJP would like to see in 2024 as their banker states. Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, these are their 3 bankers. I think where the BJP, Rahul, will be concerned in this phase is Uttar Pradesh, where there was a sense, at least from the ground, that the opposition was making some gains. Whether those gains are in terms of seats or in vote share is not certain. And importantly, in Maharashtra, the kind of seats that are going to the polls tomorrow, seats like Baramati, where it's Sharad Pawar versus Ajit Pawar in a proxy war, those are the kind of seats that the opposition will need to retain to build some momentum in a potentially swing state like Maharashtra. And then I'll turn to Karnataka in the end, Rahul, because here is where the BJP-Congress fight gives the Congress some hope. Remember, Rahul, there were about 180 odd seats last time. Direct Congress-BJP fight where between the two, they got 80% of the votes. The BJP won 168 of them, the Congress just 12. But it's in states like Karnataka possibly in Maharashtra, where the Congress will look to reverse the picture. All of this, of course, coming against the backdrop of the Revanna scandal that's taken place in the midst of the election in Karnataka. So BJP has much to hold on to in this phase and will be confident, because these are seats where even a slight drop in vote share will not mean a loss necessarily in seats. But the opposition will also sense opportunities in states like Karnataka and Maharashtra. At the end of this round, Rahul, we get into halfway. You'll actually have covered more than 270 seats. So it should give us some indication of whether the opposition is really making gains in terms of seats or only in terms of vote share.
Take a look at this vote density map for the seats that go to polls tomorrow. The NDA has more than 50% of the votes. And if you have more than half the votes on a seat, you're very comfortably placed on 68 of those seats. The India Alliance has more than 50% of the votes in only 11 seats. If you add the seats which the India Alliance had more than 40% of the votes, for all practical purposes, the India Alliance is in contention in only 1/3 of the seats, 35 seats where the India Alliance has more than 40% of the votes. On the others, it's the NDA that's very strong. But that apart, let's now take a look at the state-by-state breakup. And I want to go across first to Pradeep Gupta as we call upon the data for Maharashtra. Out of the total 48 seats in Maharashtra, tomorrow in the southern Maharashtra on 11 seats, which includes Baramati, Kolhapur, Latur, Osmanabad, Raigad, Ratnagiri, Sindhudurg, Sangli, Satara, Solapur. Those are the seats where elections will be held. The biggest, of course, is Baramati, where it's Pawar versus Pawar, the sister-in-law versus the sister. So that will determine whether Ajit Pawar is carrying this vote with him or Sharad Pawar has the sympathy. And that when it gets really tricky, that's when I go across to Pradeep Gupta to try and understand from him for a moment in Maharashtra, because that's also where you come from. Who do you think at this moment seems to be carrying the vote? Is it more likely to be Ajit Pawar or more likely to be Sharad Pawar? Of all the seats that are up for polls, what are you looking out most closely tomorrow? Pradeep, welcome.
Thank you, Rahul. So Maharashtra, as I always says, it is a state of regional Chhatraps, and when I say Chhatrap, it is purely the personality which matters. In all 35 districts of Maharashtra, one big tall leader or heavyweight personality is always there, and they hold the ground very firmly. It is irrespective of any party for that matter, starting from Baramati, as you mentioned, to you go anywhere, whether you go to the Bhujwals or you go to the Prithviraj Chauhan or the Ashok Rao Chauhan, everywhere you will find so as many as 28 assembly seats are won by the regional Chhatrap heavyweights, irrespective of these four major parties, which is Shiv Sena, NCP, Congress, and of course BJP. Apart from them, 27 seats won by the regional Chhatrap and the small parties. So this is the state of Maharashtra, and I always say the Marathas, the people I am talking about, not the leaders, has the highest level of loyalty factor, and that is the precisely reason why you have hardly witnessed one single party rule in Maharashtra for last more than 40-50 years. So this is the case of Maharashtra. So we'll have to see the seat by seat who is holding the fort. So this is the story of Maharashtra. Okay. And in this phase 3, you will find all political heavyweights. Fate is there, starting from Amit Shah to Supriya Sule to Kharge land in Karnataka to Jyotiraditya Scindia to Shivraj Singh Chauhan. All the heavyweights are there in the fray.
Okay, Rashid Kidwai, what's the mood at this moment in the Congress camp? Do they think after Rahul Gandhi, put up his hand and said, I'll fight Raebareli, are the spirits up? Or do you think they're already beginning to feel the inevitable that seems to be coming their way?
I think, Rahul, the mood in the Congress is one of cautious optimism. They are hoping that the alliance would do well in Uttar Pradesh, which looks quite surprising at this point of time. Remember, there are 34 seats where vote share is more than 40% as far as India Alliance is concerned. I think the big picture you were giving, Congress and entire opposition is very hopeful that where they have 40% or more vote share, it will convert into seats. So it will not be vote share versus seats, but vote shares converting into seats.